Hi, I'm Bob Kitchen from Maple Hill Golf. Today I'm going to be talking about the hot list for Maple Hill. One disclosure at the beginning of this, that I am on staff with Callaway Golf. So I see a lot of these videos online and a lot of them seem to be kind of skewed towards this company or towards that company. So I want to be right up front with you. I'm on staff with Callaway Golf. I have been for a while. Callaway treats me and my family fantastic. They're a really good company. Right now they happen to be making some of the best golf clubs. I don't think 2 years ago I could say that, but the last 24 months they've been really, really hot. So no one paid me to make this video. No one's given me any endorsements. Nobody gave me any free golf clubs. Nobody told me to even do this. But here I am. I want to talk to you about some drivers. Here we go. The Maple Hill hot list and how things look for 2024. And we've got some information now behind us. We kind of know what's selling. We kind of know what the trends are. I'm going to go through them, so hold on to your hat. There's a lot of information to follow. I'm going to go alphabetical. I'm going to start with Callaway. They've got the smoke product, as you probably very well know. There's three main models. There's the Max D, no sliding weights, very, very heel weighted, draw bias. Sells pretty well. Not the best seller, but for the guy that fades the ball or moves it to the right too much, definitely a good option. The Max, this is probably 70-80% of our sales. The sliding weight on the back of the golf club. Then the Triple Diamond, this is their low spin killer version. They have a few different shaft offerings this year. They have the Denali, the Tensai, and the Cypher. So they have a lightweight shaft, a medium shaft, and a heavier shaft, one that flies lower, one that flies medium, one that flies high. In our testings, you'll see at the end of the video, I'm gonna reveal the winners, but this is right near the top. Definitely not worse than anything else. The normal Max version, this is what I personally play, but do your own fitting, figure out what's best for you. This driver is so low spin, the Triple Diamond isn't necessary for nearly as many people. This thing is an absolute spin killer. This is just an outrageously low spin killer. On tour, it's almost 50-50 as far as what the guys are playing between the Max and the Triple Diamonds. A lot of people hear low spin and go, oh, I need low spin, I need low spin. If your club head speed's outrageously high and if your miss hits a hook, the Triple Diamond's possibly for you. I've talked to a lot of people into the Max driver and I've got less returns and less negative feedback than I ever have before. The Max driver from Callaway is really good. The Triple Diamond's phenomenal. If you fade it to the right at all, you won't believe how good that Max D driver is. On to the next brand. Next one's Cleveland. Cleveland has one new driver. It's called the XL2 Launcher. So this is coming off of the XL driver and XL Lite and all that stuff. What they did is just narrowed it down to one stick. There's a draw and a normal version as far as the head goes. Fully adjustable from 9 to 12 degrees. Lightweight. This is kind of a sleeper. For the category that it's in, which would be a medium to slower swinger, this is actually a sleeper. This is a pretty damn good golf club. I think you'd be surprised how good this is. We've had some people try this driver out this spring. One of my buddies, a gal that he works with, ended up with this driver. It worked the best. It gained about 12 yards over anything else we sold. The shaft length is a little bit longer, the weight of the golf club is a little bit lighter, and it's very, very aerodynamic. So Cleveland Launcher XL2, this is a pretty darn good club. It's the only club Cleveland's making right now. So just two versions, draw and neutral. Kind of a sleeper on that one. Next brand, Cobra. This is gonna be very similar to the Callaway one I just talked about. There's an LS version. It's got 3 weights on the sole. You can do neutral or fade bias. The X version, which is the blue accents on the bottom, that's got 2 weights on it. Forward for lower spin or back for more stability. And then the Max version's got one in the heel, one in the back, so you can make it draw bias. Cobra's had some success in the last few years, and their products have been actually really, really quite good. This is the best they've done in a while. Last year was the Aerojet. That product actually performed better than what people thought. Dark Speed is actually really, really good. It's right near the top. In our testing, we really can't beat it, to be perfectly honest. Again, the low spin version, this guy here, not as many people need this as think that they need this. It is low spin. It's incredibly low spin. So you got to get your launch angle right. You got to get your spin rates right. You got to get your speed right. So if you're not hitting it hard enough, this falls out of the sky too soon. If you are hitting it hard enough, this driver is absolutely fantastic. 4 different shaft offerings in the dark speeds. The X model, the normal model, this thing's a spin killer too, especially if you move the weight forward. This is outrageously low spin. So even though it's not called the low spin version, if this driver was made 4 years ago, they'd go, oh my God, that's the lowest spin driver that's ever been made. And now it's the normal version. So don't get caught up too much in that low spin term and verbiage and how everybody, oh, I think I need lower spin, I think I need lower spin. A lot of people don't need lower spin. Matter of fact, very few people do need low spin. So the X version is really, really good and definitely worth looking at. And then the Max version, of all the Maxes, this is probably my favorite one. In our selling, it's been really good too. It's a conventional, traditional straight face golf club. You can either switch the weight from draw to neutral, and you can also switch the neck to more upright to make it more draw bias. So this driver, for the forgiveness that it has, doesn't necessarily have to be draw bias. So I think that's the brilliance of this model here. And as usual, Cobra is a little bit less expensive than some of the big boys. Next one is Mizuno. Anybody that knows me personally knows I have a soft spot in my heart for Mizuno. I know that they're widely recognized recognized as an iron company, and that definitely is what they're quote unquote best at. But I can tell you, don't sleep on Mizuno woods. They have tour usage now. The product is actually as good or better than it's ever been. A few of my buddies from Railside down the street, we put them through some fittings, and this is what worked the best. This is underrated, if anything, and there's a couple other brands, at least one other brand I want to talk about that's very underrated also. 4 models, STX 230. This one's on a heck of a sale right now, and it will be for the rest of the summer. Really, really easy to hit golf club. Light draw bias. They move the weight slightly towards the heel. On tour, 50% of their players play the X and 50% of their players play the Z. The Z has the weight a little more neutral. The X is ever so slightly draw bias. Spin rates are both outrageously low. Carbon composite crown. Underrated golf club. Price point's fantastic. And then our fittings, again, that thing wins a lot. So build off the success of the 230s, the Z and the X. They brought out a Max version, which is wider front to back and a little bit wider heel to toe. So this is their maximum forgiveness, even easier to hit than the Z and the X. So they kind of combine the 2 models into one, and that's the Max. A little bit more expensive than the Z and the X, but the technology in this golf club, Mizuno's the real deal, man. They don't really sell off of hype or marketing or anything like that. They sell off performance. Because Maple Hill has 2 TrackMan fitting rooms called the Launch Kitchen, we sell only on performance, and Mizuno wins a lot because their product actually works. Not a lot of people come in here going, oh, hey, I want to hit the new Mizuno driver. It's usually Callaway, TaylorMade, Titleist, one of those, but don't sleep on Mizuno. And then the more accomplished player, this is the new G driver, which you can see has got the weight tracks in there, outrageously adjustable. It's a little bit smaller, it's a 440 head, so your more traditional player really likes the look and shape of this golf club. Absolute spin killer. Lots of different shaft offerings in all the Mizuno golf clubs. We've got tons of Mizuno shafts. Beautiful golf club, sleek design, very traditional at address. The profile of the golf club is beautiful. That's the STG driver. That one's a little bit more expensive than the other ones, but it's really good. Srixon is next. Srixon's got 3 versions. ZX5, that's going to be your vast majority of your players. Easiest to hit, neutral weighted, rebound frame. There's not a whole lot of excitement with the ZX5. It's a pretty plain Jane golf club, but this club came out last year, but it does pretty darn good in our fitting. Don't sleep on them, and the price is a little less expensive than the other guys, and the shaft offerings are really good. ZX7, a little bit smaller profile to it, different weighting system to it, a little bit lower spin. And then what they made is this 3rd version is the ZX5 LS, low spin. So it's the easier to hit one, but the weight's a little more forward to knock the spin off the golf club. The LS has actually probably done the best of the 3. All 3 of them are very comparable. Srixon's just got a little more reasonable price point. And of course, they're kind of like Mizuno. They're kind of known for their irons more than they are their woods, but their woods should be given a look. The product does hit. TaylorMade, these are interesting. So building off the success of Stealth and Stealth 2, they've got 3 different versions in the QI10. QI10, I'll go over this one first, the QI10 Max. This is by far the biggest profile, the widest head in both directions. Pinch the weight in here so they can make the head a little bit bigger because it's about cubic centimeters. It's 460 cubic centimeters is the legal limit to a driver head. They're all the same size, but when you look down at it, the Max looks the biggest. This has got the weight in the heel, it's draw bias. You'd say this is for the higher handicap, but Nelly Korda on the LPGA Tour just won 5 tournaments in a row, so she's pretty darn good, and she was playing the QI10 Max driver. So this driver, although people go, oh, I don't need the Max, I don't need that forgiveness. I don't fade the ball, I don't hit it to the right. Okay, well, my opinion is get over yourself and give this thing a try. The Max driver is absolutely fantastic, crazy forgiveness, a really good golf club. That's a lighter weight shaft, stock in there, but you can put any shaft in any head. Normal QI10 driver. This has got just 1 weight, slightly heel weighted, so it's got an ever so slightly draw bias. Very conventional, traditional shape. Looks like Sim 2 Max, Stealth, Stealth 2, all the normal versions. People go, oh, that's not that exciting. I don't know. Well, this driver just won the Masters. This is what Scotty Scheffler plays. He does not play the LS model. This has an exceptionally low spin rate to it. It's got great shaft offerings in it. Sticking with this carbon wood face for now. It's got a little more rebound effect, they claim, than what a titanium head does. This is by far the best looking of the bunch of carbon wood and the last 3 models of TaylorMade drivers. It's absolutely beautiful. QI10 normal model, and then you have the LS. The LS has the smallest footprint, a little smaller heel to toe. It does have a sliding weight in the bottom of the golf club to make it draw or fade. It is really low spin for the people that do need that. I don't want too many people caught up in that. And this one does cost $30 more, so there's a $30 premium for the sliding weight in the bottom over the other 2. That's QI10. That's near the top of the top rated for 2024 also. There's only 2 left, folks. Next is Titleist. They've got a whole lineup. TSR1, lightweight, very little going on it. Got a back weight to it. They basically designed to take as much weight out of the club head as possible for your medium to slower swingers to get as much speed as possible and gain as much distance as possible. At some point in people's lives, so like I hit it pretty straight now, I'm pretty consistent, I just need to hit it further. Whether that's age 45 like me or whether that's age 55, 65, 75, who knows? Maybe it's a female, maybe it's a senior, who knows? Maybe it's a kid. But TSR1, that's who it's designed for, and for that player, this is a really good golf club. It's very unique. Maybe the Cleveland driver I talked about earlier is one one of the only competitors to the TSR1. I'll do these two together because this is what everybody buys. TSR2 and TSR3. TSR2, back-weighted 460cc, conventional, traditional weighting to it. Again, Titleist has a ton of shaft offerings, but that is about 50% of Titleist tour usage is TSR2. And then TSR3, a little bit smaller profile, even though it's the same size head. Got a sliding weight on the back of the golf club so you can make it draw and fade. In our testing and in our fittings, this club wins a lot, especially for maybe a slightly more accomplished golfer. This one, the TSR2, fits maybe a wider range of people. Then you've got the TSR4. TSR4, the weight is forward. It looks just like TSR2, but weight is forward, spin killer. So they only have a couple guys on tour that play TSR4. It is a great driver. It's actually more forgiving than what most people think because they read online and go, oh, it's at least forgiving. Well, this is actually pretty darn good. So again, for the guy that spins it way too much, TSR4 is a very good option. Titleist in general is a really good stick. Last but not least, Wilson Dynapower. So they've got two different versions. They've got the carbon technology and the titanium technology. You can see this one here is carbon fiber on the top. This one's titanium on the top. This club came out last year, and when we got them, we were like, you know, another Wilson driver. It's the first one they've had that's adjustable in a while. They've been coming off D9 and Launchpad, which worked really good for the market it was for, but this is a whole different animal. Dynapower, this is a pretty plain Jane looking golf club in my opinion, but very much like Mizuno and I'd say like Srixon. Don't sleep on the Wilson Dynapower. This club has been very surprising for a lot of our customers that come in and are open-minded enough to actually hit a Wilson driver. And how can Wilson have a driver that's $430 or whatever retail is when you're watching this video? And they have Wilson as package sets for, you know, $399 for everything. Well, Wilson caters to the recreational golfer as well as the pro. So when you see the Wilson staff shield, this WS shield on the end of the golf club, that's the ones that are being played on tour by the tour staff. Dynapower, fantastic golf club. It's really, really underrated. And the people that are open-minded enough to give it a try, give it a try. And then last but not least, to talk about the winners and what the best rated golf clubs we have, what's selling the best so far this year. There's 4 different ones. I'm gonna bring them back up here. The winners so far this year, and in our testing, what's been the absolute best is these 3 drivers, the QI10, Callaway AI Smoke Max, and the Cobra Dark Speed X. In our testing and in our club fitting and what people actually use and like and prefer and perform the best, these 3 drivers are really, really hard to beat. That doesn't mean the other ones aren't great too. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you a whole bunch of negatives because people hit anything bad if the swing's bad, if they make a bad move with the ball. But in our testing, as far as forgiveness, distance, spin rate, and overall preference, these 3 drivers seem to be a little bit ahead of everything else that I just talked about. I would say right on its heels is TSR. TSR is a Titleist product, which they only bring out products every 2 years. They don't bring them out every year like these guys do. So this product isn't quite as new and exciting, but it's really solid and the performance is really good. Titleist is definitely worth a shot. Titleist also doesn't roll the price down as fast as the other guys, and resale value stays higher. So there's some positives to owning a Titleist driver or any Titleist product as well. Then the rest of them, some of them are kind of niche markets, but they definitely serve their purpose. And then there's a couple dark horses like the Srixon, Dynapower, Mizuno stuff. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something from it. The truth is that all these golf clubs work pretty darn good, and you really just got to figure out which one's absolutely best for you. And hopefully from the video I just said, you can kind of know which player you are, because there's like, oh my God, that was so many drivers. Yeah, but most of them you can narrow it down to 1, no more than 2 versions within that model as to what you should actually be trying. It's not fair to go out and try a QI10 LS driver versus a Cobra Dark Speed Max driver. Those aren't in the same category. Those don't compare to each other. You can come on out to the driving range and hit them. You can schedule yourself into launch kitchen fitting. Or if you're watching this video and you don't live near Grand Rapids, Michigan, go to your local pro or your local shop and get fit for one. I would recommend you do a little bit of research and make sure who you're getting fit from is a legit place and not a place that's going to try to sell you $900 drivers that isn't good for you, promise you that. We try to get you the best possible product for the best possible price. That's our whole goal and MO at Maple Hill, and that's where my grandfather started, my dad started, where my brother and I are currently at, and that's what's made us so successful, that and a lot of very knowledgeable staff. Lots of good stuff. It's all worth it. We'll help you find the best possible club for the best possible price. Bring your old one and compare it. We'll do our best to beat it.